It's 4:30. Jacob, are you ready? Okay, good. And the first order of business, Colonel Wells, you have a presentation you'd like to make?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, we thought this was a great opportunity to express some gratitude to the Putnam County Fair Authority this afternoon, knowing they were all going to be together. For those of y'all that aren't aware, we had the honor of hosting for the third time in Putnam County, the State of Florida Police Athletic League Boxing Championship rounds here in Putnam County this year. This is the third time that we've been able to do it. This championship has traditionally been held in larger counties around South Florida, and 3 years ago we had the idea of giving it a shot and see if we could attract this tournament to Putnam County. We were able to, and we just did our third. This is a lot of cooperation from the Board of County Commissioners. The Chamber of Commerce has been a big assistance to us in this, and this year even the Health Department was assisted us as we had to deal with the pandemic. So we had partnered for our first 2 years with St. John's River State College and held this at that venue. And very quickly, all of the folks involved in this tournament have fallen in love with Putnam County. I can tell you that I'm relatively convinced that we can have this tournament here in Putnam County for as long as we want it. We brought more than 200 boxers from across the United States and more than 100 coaches from across the United States into Putnam County this year. Received funding assistance from the Chamber and a lot of assistance from the Health Department helping us hold a safe event. But because of some restrictions, we were unable to hold this event at the last minute at St. John's River State College. So we turned in somewhat of a panic to our friends at the Fair Authority, and we held the event this year at the Putnam County Fairgrounds. The coaches, the parents, the boxers loved the venue, and it was a great, great success, and we look forward to holding this for many more years in Putnam County. You know, with that many boxers and coaches and family and parents that come along, lots of hotel rooms filled, a lot of restaurant meals, and just a great event to Putnam County, and it certainly brought us some recognition into the county from the Police Athletic League community as recognized as certainly a great destination for these events. So with that being said, I thought this was a great opportunity. We have a quick presentation that we would like to make to the Fair Authority for really stepping in and helping us pull this off at the last minute this year under very challenging circumstances. And here with me today, if you haven't met, this is Deputy John Brady. He is the Executive Director of the Police Athletic League, and he fills the shoes vacated by the retirement of our longtime coach, Barry Stewart. And so not only was this John's first year, for the most part, really putting the tournament together on his own, he did so in the middle of a pandemic, and really thank the Fair Authority for bailing us out and allowing us to continue to hold this in Putnam County, and we look forward to many more years of this coming here. So we have a quick presentation to make to the Fair Authority, and of course, if John would like to say anything. So we would like to present this to the Putnam County Fair Authority, and it's a small token of our appreciation for doing everything you could and really helping us facilitate a great event at our beautiful fairgrounds right here in Putnam County, and look forward to many more years of drawing boxers, coaches, and families from across the country here to Putnam County. So thank you guys very much. You know, one of the interesting thoughts here that I just thought it'd be better to mention is, we can grab a quick picture, and then I want to just add one more thought to it. So.
We'll stay up here. Y'all stay down there. That's beautiful.
Great expo hall.
Now we want to see some boxing. Who's going to, Jay and TK? We'll sign both.
Why don't you get up on a chair? Oh.
Jay, don't fight TK. Don't fight her. Come on, guys. Come on. No, come on. Come on. No one sits back in this room. Wait. Wayne, you got to be in here. You got to be in here too, Wayne.
Sorry, Julie.
Why don't you move down that side? No, I'm just, okay. You ready? Go.
All right. Everybody right here first. 1, 2, 3. What a smile, Joe Wells. I got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Very nice.
That's cool.
You know, one other, I think, interesting note about this is one of the things that led us to try to compete to bring this tournament to Putnam County, although we thought at the time that it might be a far-fetched notion to get this tournament here that brings kids from across the country, and including Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and those areas into Putnam County, was we realized that, you know, many of the youth that are in our Police Athletic League program come from very challenging circumstances. And, you know, family conditions, sometimes the finances aren't available. And we had many championship boxers coming out of Putnam County whose family was never able to travel with them to see these events. So he's like, well, let's try to bring it to Putnam County. Then it'll be local and their families can see it. So that was some of the motivation behind it. And so it has certainly been one of the highlights of our Police Athletic League. And just in closing, one more time, thank you to the Fair Authority for helping us pull this off this year. We look forward to many more years of partnership with you guys. Thank you.
Colonel Wells, I think JR has a few comments.
Sure.
Turn to your light on right there in the center of your, where it says push. There you go.
There we go. Well, I wish Amber Cooper were here. She was the liaison between the Police Athletic League and the Fair Board. And this is exactly the type of activity that these grounds were envisioned for. And the police department the sheriff's department was a fantastic partner. And we look forward to hosting it for as long as we possibly can. And thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time. You guys have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move right into, this is a kind of a joint meeting between the Board of County Commissioners workshop, and we've invited the Fair Authority to come speak to us about how we can help the Fair Authority provide a fair for this year. So, JR, I'll let you and your staff, or you and your volunteers, make the presentation.
Well, first, Chairman Harvey, thank you for the opportunity to come and kind of share where we are in the scheme of things. You know, we are currently moving forward with plans for the fair. It is, you know, a challenging time, but, you know, March 19th to the 27th are our dates, and they're approaching quickly. We've had a lot of time to think about this since it was kind of dropped in our lap kind of at the last minute last year. We were, you know, all systems go when kind of the ceiling fell in, and we called it to a quits last year. We've thought long and hard about, you know, what to do in case. We really honestly didn't believe at the beginning we'd be sitting here this far along 1 year later contemplating any of this. But, you know, we've had a lot of time to think of it, and we really think we can thoughtfully adapt the fair to an event that can be safe for the entire community. And we've given there's an outline of kind of the things I'll hit here in the package that Amy presented there. You know, the fair is going to be different this year. We're looking at every aspect of the fair, both the what we call, you know, large events and the small ones, and there's some we can be socially distant that we feel can be attended safely, and some things just present so many challenges we felt it was best just to scratch them off the list for 2021. The Civic Luncheon, the Sandbox, Senior Day, Pre-K Day, that Chamber After Hours, we're gonna postpone those for another year. We just felt like those activities were too challenging, or given the restrictions required would lack so much that they weren't worth doing. So the cost benefit was negative. We're going to require masks in all indoor spaces, the exhibit hall, the expo hall, bathrooms, Ag Center auditorium, the commercial hall. If you're inside a building, a mask will be required. In those outdoor spaces, we're not going to require a mask. We're going to, if you can social distance, we don't have that as a requirement at this point in the game. We're going to encourage our participants to assess their health and to assess the risk that is involved just in being in a public situation, and hopefully folks will make good choices. And we're gonna arm them with lots of signage and direction and opportunity to be socially distant. The midway will be configured a little differently. It'll be spaced. There's a little outline from Degler Attractions, who's I guess starting Manatee Manatee is starting within the next couple days. Oh, excuse me, Martin County. Manatee already went off. So there have been a few examples set out in front of us. We're going to take the best of what those guys did, learn a little bit from them, and plug them into our program. And we really think we can pull off a fair that's going to be safe. So I think in the past, we come to the county and ask for help, and there's traditionally been a lot of help. We get some extra mowing, we get some dirt brought in, we get just some special attention ahead of time, and we're certainly going to need that again this year. One of the things that is going to be a challenge for us, we're sourcing now all the required PPE, and mask costs are shockingly high when you need a large number of them. So we do have a community partner who's given us offered us a deal, but we're trying to pin down that number of how many masks do we need. We don't have a lot of data that's going to say how many people come with their own masks. So if the county has a stockpile or access to masks, that's a kind of a choke point for us. So any help that could come would be appreciated there. That's just the philosophy of erring to the side of caution, and I think we believe will get us through. So, it's going to be full steam ahead. If you guys have questions or comments or suggestions, we'd love them. We've been getting, all of us on the board have been kind of tasked with reaching out to the community and asking, business partners and people who traditionally participate in the fair what their thought is. And it's been overwhelming. Let's try to have a safe activity. People are ready, and we recognize that some people are maybe too ready and are willing just to go willy-nilly. But, we're going to foster a safe environment.
So how's can you want to mention how we're going to handle the livestock auction, that type of thing?
Yes. We're going to have a livestock auction one way or another. Currently, last year we did a virtual auction through a third-party vendor. Regardless, this year we've done enough research, and we'll be configuring and work with 4-H enough to understand that we can pull together a socially distant show and sale. There's going to be there was a school activity that was educational in nature and brought kids to the fairgrounds before the fair, and we felt like that one we couldn't pull off, so we're going to postpone that one for later. But 4-H has pretty strict standards as far as distancing and mask wearing. We're going to follow their national rules. We're going to limit the number of kids and participants and animals in the show ring at any given time so as to allow for distance. We're going to, at this point, we're going to make the animal show barns off limit to the public. We felt like the number of parents and kids in that space would be okay, but adding the public to it too would be too close. I think we're hoping to have a buyer's dinner. We're in negotiations with another venue that would allow us more space. We would limit the number, and if we can achieve enough space with few enough invitees, we'll have that dinner. If we can't do that, we won't have it. But we will be distancing the seating, limiting the seating. We'll have armbands for participants and parents to be in that private area. They'll have their own designated seating away from the public seating, and all of that will be at half capacity. Even for buyers, we're encouraging a program for buyers to kind of pony up with a central buyer and have representative buying. Let's see, we're working on developing a drive-through drop-off and pickup for horticulture, art, home division. Those typically push people into the barns, at one time. So we're working on a little runner system to accept those, and we're going to ferry them in one side. They're just going to hand them off from their car and move on, check them in and out that way. So every time we turn around, we're finding an aspect that needs some attention. And if we can come up with a creative way, we're coming up with a creative way. And if we can't, we're just kind of resigned to the fact that it's got to go. So am I missing anything? Is there anything that highlight that I have overlooked? Okay.
Well, JR, let me, if you don't mind, I contacted Manatee County and talked to their fair director and got some information for y'all. They did a really, really good job, and I like what I'm reading so far. I think this is great. I did have a recommendation. I can't remember who I said it to, but if let's say our Rotary clubs or Kiwanis clubs or something like that could be of assistance in helping you clean during the fair, maybe we walk around as sanitizers with wipes, and we can wipe off certain publicly used areas a lot. I can't imagine that our club wouldn't jump on it in a heartbeat, and I'm sure other clubs would take the same thing. I mean, we're all in this together, and I think that's important. I believe, JR, we can probably find a few masks and some sanitizer. Didn't you say you had a few extra ones of those? JR? Okay.
He's actually he's trying to find out just what we have available now.
Okay, I'm sorry to put you on the
No, it's okay. He texted, so it looks like we've got probably about a pallet and a half of the cloth masks left. And I think there's 500 per box, so I'm gonna say there's several thousand there. There's a
Fantastic.
potential that we could get, put another request in for a large event that we could potentially get more. So, I mean, if we can spare those, we'd be happy to.
Fantastic.
and
Call me, so I'll
sanitizer.
get you a quick update.
JR, you knew Rob at the South Putnam Medical Clinic? They were trying to give the high school or the school system some hand sanitizer, so I think they have some. So you
Okay,
might wanna
yeah,
reach out
I'll
to him.
double check how much hand sanitizer we actually do have. I know at some point we'd gotten a little low, but I think we'd got some more in. It's not the popular kind, it's the kind that smells a little bit like tequila, but I mean, people won't use it but more than once, so you gotta be real kind of careful. But I mean, where we can help in there, we sure will. But I'll give a call back and see exactly where we're at. And if y'all have any projection idea of what you possibly think outside what you would need?
For masks?
Yes, sir.
We've been trying to pin down that number. We have never had a dead-on number of the number of people that are there across the week. We think that number is right around 30,000 people.
Okay.
And that is paid, volunteers, family, the whole shebang.
So do you think if we got somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000 masks, that would suffice for the fair?
I honestly think that would be more than enough. I feel like, I mean, we are actually going to encourage people in our social media to bring their masks.
Sure.
And I feel like, we've been at this long enough. I've got a mask for every day of the week. And so I think people will bring their own masks.
I agree. I mean, mostly our school-age kids right now are so used to wearing them. I mean, it's like almost like second nature. So they will. But I mean, we'll definitely supply whatever we can.
Fantastic.
So.
Thank you.
And JR, Mike Troxel, our Public Works Director, is right here. So if you'll get with him, he can get whatever you need done over there. And don't wait too late, but let him know what day you really want to get it done, and I'm sure he can accommodate that.
Fantastic. And Amy will be in touch with you. Thank you so much.
The only other thing, and I'll turn it over to another commissioner if they want, I like the idea of the buyers first in the thing. I mean, all of us like to go and participate, but there are those people who are they're going to buy no matter what. Those are the first priority, and I like that idea. I'm a little concerned about the exhibit hall, but I think there's enough airflow through that place, because usually it's pretty cold and windy through there,
Yeah, it is. And, we were talking about fans and things of that nature, and, we'll make sure that the fans we have in place are operational. It's a challenge, but I do think it's very rare that we have people elbow to elbow in there, as you guys know. It comes and goes, but, those will be the challenges for us. It's easy to provide a venue for people to come, and we have to trust and encourage them to act responsibly, and we're going to do all we can to do that.
Well, and you can always adapt. If you see it's going downhill, you can
Absolutely.
make changes at that.
Yep.
I'm remiss not to have you introduce your Fair Board members, so if you'll take a moment and do that.
I'll let everybody just give their name and kind of, where they're from and who they represent. Fire away, TK.
Oh, so, TK Strouder.
You guys speak into the microphone or it won't pick you
Okay.
up.
I'm TK Strouder. What do you want me, where I'm from?
Well, who's what district are you from?
Oh, Mr. Harvey.
My name's Jay Browning. I'm the vice president of the fair. Love it. It's a great time. And thank you. I think it was under Paul that I got appointed. It may have been a seat before, but that's where I'm currently and love being on the fair board. So thank you.
I'm Amy Pupor. I'm the fair manager. Been there going on 6 fairs now. So I've met most of you at some point or another before. I'm usually the one just running around acting like I've got so many things to do during the fair. You probably don't see me sit down much. And I enjoy what I do over there. It's just pulling it together, and it's a great team, the Fair Authority. So.
Wayne McLean, I don't know who appointed me, but I'm glad to be on the Fair Board.
Back there in the back.
Kyle Hines, been with the Fair Board 3 years now, I do believe, and I'm underneath Paul on the location.
Doug Thompson, appointed by Chairman Harvey. Don't know much about cows, but I like fairs.
Well, good. Before I maybe turn it over to the commission, Ms. Garcia with the State Health Department is here in our presence today, and would there be anything you'd like to share with us and what we could do to help the fair and along those lines?
Well, I think that the fair has tried last year. I know we had made a really hard decision, and it was one that you
Ms.
made.
Garcia, you gotta
Like,
speak in.
Oh, I don't want to be that tall.
Yeah, well,
And, it's a new day. We'll have to test it. 30,000 kind of gave me a heart attack. I just wanted you to know up front. But it's 30,000 throughout the 10 days.
yes.
So I think that's what we have to remember. And if you want to share some of your advertisements that you're going to do about, if you're sick, don't come.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how to tell people that. That's the most helpful thing to do. But it is going to be what it is. Some of us won't know. So you got him for me to look at? Okay. Okay, thank you.
And this is the one that will probably go up on the website first, and we're going to try to come up with some creative, fun little, blurbs to go out, both on the website and through social media, just encouraging, trying to make the mask, more acceptable. So.
I think that's the, and I think whoever said it, the kids are wearing masks now. It's kind of a habit. If you get somebody that's very creative and can make something different, or have a section where people can paint their own, that might be something to do.
Mary, you've got to speak into the microphone.
I will bubble up that we're having the fair. I do need to bubble anything that's over a capacity. It has to be reported to the Surgeon General, so I will bubble that up so they're aware of it. And in some of the events that we have had in the past, we were able to take names and temperatures and keep track of that, and that's worked very well, so I appreciate your cooperation in that. And I think we haven't had, once we started that technique, we've been doing very well with the fairs. And certainly thank you incredibly for allowing us to be there for our vaccination efforts, because it does allow us the social distancing. It does allow us to have our citizens to have a place that's calm and contained and safe. So
In that regard, how would we like to handle that bus during the fair? Do we want to put it outside the fence and just keep it there?
I think JR has a different plan. Mr. Grimes, would you like to address that?
Sure. I mean, we can absolutely move it. That's the beauty of that. If it needs to be moved, we can move it to another location for the week. Hopefully we got an idea sooner than later what our vaccines will look like for the 10 days of the fair. We've got some alternative plans on where else we could set it for 2 weeks. I would just like to thank you guys for participating and allow us to use your facility. I mean, a lot of the fluidness of that thing is because of the facility itself. I mean, it's almost ideal for that vaccine site. And I'd just like to express my gratitude to you folks for letting us use it, because it's really been a tremendous help to the citizens of Putnam County. The facility made it easy for us to plan, because, I mean, it is absolutely, like I said, almost ideal for what we're trying to do.
Well, that couldn't have been an easier decision, and I will applaud the entire group of you. I come into contact every day with people from St. John's, Flagler, Volusia, and Putnam counties, and I will say by far, you guys are doing it right. Not that they're doing it wrong, but I think we're going to have a higher rate of vaccination here in our county than in those others more quickly, and it's going well. And I think we're an example for people to look at that's positive, and that's cool. So,
You know, along those lines, if you don't mind me saying, got a call the other day, and this doctor's office was in a hurry to getting their people back, and they called me, can you help me get this thing faster? We're at the back of the line. And I said, trust me, that line's going to go very, very fast.
Quickly.
And they were like, they called me back about 35 minutes later. We've already went through the whole line. We're done. We're out of here. And I'm like, I told you it's going to go quick. Yeah. So, yeah, kudos to you, Ms. Garcia, also. So,
No, it's a complete team effort. We would not have been able to do it as a health department by ourselves because we're not large enough. Certainly our emergency operations, our emergency operations center is used to dealing with disasters, and so they know to respond quickly and think outside the box, so that's helpful as well. And then we were able to call immediately as soon as we knew we needed help to set up our voices in for needing a team from the incident management team and the National Guard, who've been an incredible help to us. So it's been an incredible team effort, and it's working really well, and we're trying to plan ahead for March and days that might be some rain. So that's our next concern, because I think we're going to be at this a while. So we're very fortunate. We hope that other community partners will be doing vaccinations and come up with other efforts. And during the week of the fair, we will think about someplace else that we may need to do vaccines, because we do have to think about second doses 28 days ahead before the 23rd, so we've got to start planning all of those now, because that's coming up in a few weeks. So we'll take a look at those and sites that we might be able to do. It's just been amazing for, I think, the individuals that have commented, is that you don't have to get out of your car, you stay in it. It is an incredible movement. I know some people are talking about trying to move indoors, maybe with our team members, but I think that's just something for us to think about. It works real well, and when you're over 65, or just don't want to get out of your car, it works out really nicely, not adding that extra layer of movement. So we certainly appreciate it, and I think it's worked incredibly well, and the kudos that are all over Facebook, I think it's amazing for our whole county on how we come together. So I think that's the secret.
Well, Ms. Garcia, if you see anything that we can do, or when you read over the documents, just let us know how we can help. And I'm going to turn it over to the commissioners. Commissioner Rawls, do you have any comment?
You know, I applaud what you guys are doing. I'm really glad you're doing it. I personally would like to see us start getting back to a more normal life, and our kids especially need it. If you look at some of the research that's being talked about over the past year with the effect this has had on the kids. I was just mentioning to Commissioner Pickens that, when we were younger, we were worried about the atomic bombs and all those drills, and these kids are going to be scarred for life and having to remember this. And I know my son is very bitter towards COVID, and he expresses it. I think the quicker we can get back to life, I don't think anybody in here didn't drive here today. You probably pull up to gas stations and you touch pumps that other people have touched. You go into convenience stores, and with or without a mask, this is no different. So I applaud you for getting this thing on, and I look forward to being there myself.
Vice Chairman.
By the way, if you want masks, if you go to Walmart and Publix parking lot, they're all over the place.
Oh, gross.
I'm just saying.
Let's not go there. Vice Chairman Pickens.
Thank you, Chairman Harvey. And first, I just want to thank you for what y'all do in a normal year. All the time that you put in, planning and then doing the event, and then the post planning. and also for providing the facility for the vaccinations, because it really has worked out well. You very seldom do you run into anybody that, may have had a negative view of how they were going to get a shot in Putnam County. But when they go through this process and talk to people from other counties, they go, wow, y'all really did it right. And I want to thank Mary and JR and all the staff for that. But thank you for not doing the easy thing and canceling the fair. That would have been the easy thing, but the negative impact of the citizens, especially the children, of what it would have had on them. So I appreciate you coming up with innovative ways to continue to have this. JR, we had a conversation over a month ago, and y'all were planning that and reaching out to other counties of how they were going to operate their fair. Growing up, I was not a fair kid, really wasn't. But now I see as a commissioner, because I've been to the fair, the value that it brings to Putnam County and to the citizens and citizens around us. So I truly appreciate everything that y'all do, and thank you so much, and I hope it goes well.
Commissioner Adams?
There's not really a lot more I can add to what the other two commissioners have said, but really, thank you. My main goal was that we had a fair this year. I'm glad we're having it. I look forward to being there. I'll be there as many days as possible, like I am every year. I love fairs. I've raised livestock. I've raised rabbits and all different stuff. My kids have showed, never in a fair actually, just in real shows specific to breeds, but I'm very excited to be there with my children and my family, and thank you for putting this on. I appreciate it.
And not Commissioner, County Administrator Suggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to echo the sentiments of the commissioners, but as they know, I've worked closely with a lot of them already. Whatever we can do to assist, staffing-wise, setting up-wise. I know Public Works is very instrumental in helping get things taken care of out there, facilities and all that. Just let us know what we can do to help and participate, and we're there for you.
Thank you.
Okay, and I want to end this comment. This is a start of something. This is the most I've ever seen of Fair Board members in this room. No, that wasn't disparity. I really want, we can have a joint meeting. We can sit down and talk about things for the facility and that you need to make Putnam County better. That's an economic driver for the county, that those fairgrounds are. And unfortunately, they get tied with the name fairgrounds, but they're really an economic driver of Putnam County, and the fair is part of that, is the way I look at it. And I think, as you well know, you do more and more out there than fair. So going forward, we're having joint meetings with a lot of partners, and we want to bring your staff back, bring the whole fair board, and we'll make a time to sit down and see what we can do to help y'all. Y'all got enough work to do right now. I won't keep you, but I really want to say how appreciative this board is. And Commissioner Turner couldn't be here today, but he's the one who said, why don't we just have them over here when we have a regular meeting? So we appreciate you adjusting your schedules for that. And again, anything that we can do as a board to make the fair better or help you. I'll stand over there with hand sanitizers and squirt people. I don't mind, you know. We can run them through a vat, right?
It's wonderful to hear this, and the more we communicate together, the better off we'll be. And we'll probably rotate so you don't see the same faces all the time. We'll rotate folks to come in, and we have a really active, full board, and we've got a great mix of people from across the county with varied backgrounds and areas of expertise. So we got a lot of good things going, and you're right. It used to be the fairgrounds, and it is more than that now. Right. It's growing. Its infrastructure is improving. And as our county grows, I think it'll grow. And we got nothing but good things ahead of us. And the more we learn and can help each other, the better off we're going to be.
Well, I want to say this too in closing. I guess I'm a Baptist preacher, closed 3 times, right? I don't know. But as I sit here in my position, the most sought after board in this whole county, the one I don't have to go begging people to be a part of, is the fair. I have people begging me to be on the fair. And it's so good to see that, because you get such a good mix of people that bring more diversity into it. And it's a pleasure for me to appoint people to the fair board. The other boards, I have to please serve. Would you please serve on that? Because we need help. But the fair board people are knocking on my door for that one. And I'm sure the other commissioners feel the same way. So thank you again for being a part. If we can do anything to help you, let us know. Thank you. And we appreciate it.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, please do.
It might be worth having somebody from the fair at the meeting when we meet for our agenda. It's something that, I know JR and I have talked about this, and Doug and I have talked about it, and Jay and I have talked about it. Additional funding for the fair grounds, and taking a look at their vision and what we can do to help them get to where they want to be, because they got a lot of good ideas, and I think, from an economic development perspective, they're going to need some help from us, and we need to have access to them a little more often than I've been here for 2 years. This is the first time we've met collectively, so.
Well, speaking of that, at our next meeting, we have employed an architect to help us with a visioning program. And we met with them a couple times already. He's going to be coming to our next meeting to kind of update on a little bit of some of the visuals, but just more long-term planning and helping us to look at those grounds very differently than we traditionally do. So I don't remember the date of the next meeting. Anyway, it's the third Tuesday. So he will be at that meeting, and any of you are welcome to come just to get caught up on kind of where that vision is taking us at the moment. So,
Mr. Adams,
Since I have the opportunity, you guys are here, and I've talked about it with a couple people on your board, but think big time, and maybe the idea of the Putnam County Fair and Convention Center as a possibility. I mean, that's something that we lack a facility where if we bring in a lower level concert venue or, a public speaker that could draw more than 200, 300, 400 people. There's been some missed opportunities in several fashions where we could have had people come to the county and we just don't have a facility for some of the events that we could have done. And that's just something, I don't know if we'll ever be able to budget that, but definitely something to propose and then let us whittle it down.
well, we're going to, in this visioning process, that's kind of the way those guys start it. Pretend like you have an unlimited budget. So let's throw it out there, and we'll win with that stuff down, later. It's easy for them to say that, but I think we're gonna have a number of seats in this vision.
Doug, hey, Doug,
yes.
there's a wireless microphone right there if you don't want to.
Oh, that's okay, I can bend over. Unlimited budgets, there is another 1.9 trillion CARES Act that's going to be done. And I know there's going to be money in there for things that help with COVID. So when we look at what we can do with the fairgrounds, let's think about how we can get some of that money that we've all paid in and bring it back to our county, and especially in terms of what we can do at the fair with that.
Mr. Adams?
And just look at if you look at the state statute for the TDC, that might be a place to start. Just a little bit of somewhere to look.
And I was looking at Mr. Suggs as well.
All right, good. Well, thank you all for being here, and we appreciate it. Guys, is there anything else that's good for the order today? Seeing nothing, this meeting is now adjourned.